At Te Akau ki Pāpāmoa School, we have a tūhono model, which means connectedness, and what that does is encompasses each individual as a whole person, and that we often talk about when the four walls, or if it was the work of Summation Tree, refers to whare tapawha, the four walls of an individual. When those walls are strong, our house is strong. So we have a know me before you teach me mantra, and what that is understanding who that individual is and personalising that learning journey. Being a digital one-to-one school, we've put in a lot of time and effort over the years in developing our teachers to be prepared to provide education on a digital platform. However, what that didn't do is consider or take into account the COVID situation, which was providing from a digital platform but then into a home environment, and from a home environment of a teacher. One of the things that we did find out early is our teachers were well prepared in terms of exposure to being able to use digital technologies effectively. However, taking into account working from home with your own children around you, and also taking into account the whānau, our home environments, and how we might, what did that mean for us? The most exciting thing is we saw further growth of teachers about true engagement from distance. How do you strengthen a relationship from a digital platform? We're so used to this daily face-to-face contact that when it isn't the same on Zoom, we found teachers rising to the occasion.
It was hugely overwhelming to begin with, hugely. We didn't know how long we were going into this. We didn't know even how we were going to approach this learning program. So it took a lot of talking, a lot of trialling things to come up with something that we were really happy with. And what we were going for was something quite parallel to our class program, so that it was quite familiar to our students. So, you know, when they would get their program in the morning, they see us there having a kororo, talking to them, greeting them every morning, and going into our waiata and so on throughout our program. Quite early into the remote learning program, we had the tūhono model, which we could use to look at the balance of our program and to see if we were meeting the needs of all our learners.
I'm also a mum of 5 children, and I have one little girl here, and she's in year 4, and she loved getting to her iPad in the morning. It'd be like 8 o'clock, it's going to be there, our little greeting from her class. She'd be like, I wonder what waiata it's going to be today, because that's what she loved about coming to school. And so they continued that remotely, that connecting in the morning. That was a highlight for her, was yay, because it's that familiarity, routine. It brought her back to that feeling of, even though she's at home, sitting on her bed, it brought her back to that feeling of her class environment, because this is what we do. Now that she's back at school, I guess it doesn't seem like she's been away, because she's seen the kids through remote learning. We've been doing the waiata, so it's not like she's had to start all over again. It's just continued.
So it became really important for teachers to consider closely what the home environment might be like, and to consider our connectedness model and the types of learning, whether synchronous learning or asynchronous learning, how that could be captured using Seesaw as a platform for parents to be able to feed in to the learning that was going on home, and then for the teachers to then be able to engage with parents at that level. We noticed some really wonderful things going on, that the types of engagement we were getting at school, they were continuing through the home, but they'd been enhanced. So that approach, the tūhono model, the connectedness, was coming through so strongly and so powerfully that we were getting a greater level of engagement from parents.
Because they were, well, I've got the year 0 1 students, they weren't so familiar with technology, and same with their whānau. So they needed a lot of support with that. So there was a lot of messaging, a lot of talking, a lot of communication back and forward. And I think that they, through that, developed a high level of trust and an openness. We can talk about things, and that we're here for them. Thinking where I've come from, you know, what the skills I had going into the remote learning program and what I can do now, and how we have used that back into the classroom. It's been massive. It's been a huge journey, and not without the mahi, that's for sure. A lot of hard work and a lot of learning and a lot of success. Going into lockdown, we kind of went in with the intention of maintaining our students' learning. but what we actually saw was progress.
What was important to our whānau when learning from distance? Was it connectivity actually, or was it a fact that maybe there was going to be some financial discomfort and hardship, or was it in terms of, do we have the resources when we're talking about tinana or the physical well-being of an individual? What is it like at home to be able to try and apply that? Where at school we have physical education lessons on a daily basis. What's that going to look like at home? So it's incorporating those things at school, but from a home basis. And then finally, just in terms of the delivery of the New Zealand curriculum, well, that's the mind, the development, hininaru. How do we apply the context of teaching to develop the mind? If we're concentrating at our school on developing the whole person, then we incorporate all the aspects of our model.